Hi everyone, it's Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. I'm an American expat living in Malaysia and I like to share my life and travels with you. Well, today I thought I would talk to you about veterinary care in Malaysia and take you on a trip to the vet with Earl Grey. Sound interesting? Stay tuned. Well, as many of you probably know, Earl Grey is a Malaysian cat who I got in Penang. I was at a restaurant one night and he came up and begged for some food and he was just the cutest kitten and I couldn't resist and he ended up coming home with me. And that turned out to be a great thing for both of us. I did have a couple other cats at the time, so I had to keep them segregated for a couple of months actually. But here you can see Earl Grey as a kitten. He was the cutest thing. You can see why I couldn't resist. He was really one of the lucky cats of Malaysia, I can tell you that. He's a pretty healthy cat. But as you know, all pets need checkups. So I'm going to take you with me today for his checkup. In Penang, I took Earl Grey to a vet very close to home called Earl Veterinary Center. It was so convenient and it was just a block away. I think you can see Earl Grey over there. He's doing fine after his visit. As you can see, it's a wonderful veterinary center. Very modern and up to date. A little bit more modern than the one I go to in Kuala Lumpur now, but the one in Kuala Lumpur is just as good, I think. And certainly the prices are less in Kuala Lumpur, or at least to the vet I go to. Earl Grey got all his veterinary care and checkups there before we moved to KL. And they took good care of him. They gave vaccinations that last for 3 years, which is nice, although he's back on the 1-year plan now. I wasn't always a very good daddy, though, because I was giving Earl Grey and my other cats some really cheap dry food. I thought, oh, what does it matter? Well, apparently it matters a lot, especially in male cats. Earl Grey got a urinary cat blockage. Oh, those are so unpleasant. He couldn't go to the bathroom and he just sat there crying. It was so sad. After about a day of that, I took him right to the vet. Well, it turned out that he had a blockage and it's caused by cheap, dry cat food. You know, I heard that before, but I wasn't sure I really believed it, but now I do for sure. He actually had to be catheterized. And they took ultrasounds and showed me all the nasty stuff that was floating around inside his bladder. Ooh, it was so sad. Well, he had to stay at the vet for several nights. And it was just touch and go for a while. But with antibiotics and a promise of a new diet, he got better and was just fine. Of course, then I had to switch him to this new, much better cat food. It's Royal Canin, and they have a urinary blend, which is good for cats that have had urinary problems. So that's all he eats now. Well, with some occasional wet food. While this episode was not inexpensive, 1,600 ringgit, but several nights at the vet, the catheterization, the ultrasounds, the medication, all that, that's only about $400 US. Well, I can tell you 3 nights at the vet would be a lot more than $400 US in the US. But it's not cheap for people here. Well, and it's not cheap for me either. But it's worth it to take care of Earl Grey. Now, his new food, Royal Canin, I can buy that at the vet, or I can get it at any number of pet food stores. It's about 140 ringgit for a 4-kilo bag, which lasts at least 2 months, if not more. So that's around $35 US. I guess when you break it down, it's not really that much per day. And like I said, Earl Grey's certainly worth it. So he's been eating that food for years, and luckily he has not had any recurrence at all. Thank goodness. Since we have been in KL, he's been just fine health-wise, except one occurrence. I went on a 2-week vacation on a cruise, and I just didn't have anybody who could take care of him for that long, so I decided to board him at a cat hotel. Well, I thought the cat hotel was going to be marvelous because they were very strict that you had to show your vaccination records and, make sure he was all up to date with everything. And they even had to give him a flea treatment, even though he's never had fleas. But just to be on the safe side. So I was really confident with that. But sadly, when we brought him home from the 2 weeks in the cat hotel, He had the flu. Well, you know, I've had experience with cat flu before. It's very common here. And my 2 cats before Earl Grey had chronic cat flu, which meant it just would not go away. But this time I took him to the vet, and this is the new vet I go to now here in KL. And they gave him a week's antibiotics, and he was just fine after that. Now, it's not the easiest thing to give Earl Grey a pill. He's a big boy, and he can fight hard. You've probably all seen the video where he bites me. But anyway, I ended up having to crush up the pills and mix it in a little bit of water and put it in a syringe and squirt it down his throat because he just was impossible to give multiple pills to. But that's how I ended up finding his current vet, Kitty Cottage, which is in Desa Pandan, only like a 5-minute drive from my apartment. Well, I do sort of a sneaky thing when I'm getting ready to take Earl Grey to the vet. I sort of quietly go and get the cat carrier out of the cupboard I keep it in over there, and then I put it just on the sofa, casually, with the door open. He gets curious, and he wanders over to it and sniffs it out a little bit, and then usually he'll just go right inside and lay down. Isn't that great? Because I've had cats that are impossible to get into their carriers. Not Earl Grey, he just goes right in there. I'm sure many of you have cats that are hard to get in their carriers. So I got him in there, and we went down in the elevator and waited in the lobby for my ride. A friend of us was going to take us. Now, I think I can probably take him in a grab. I don't think they have a problem with cats. But it's just nicer to have a friend do it. He's a good boy while we're waiting. He doesn't really meow much while he's in the carrier. While Kitty's Cottage Veterinary is not nearly as high-tech as the one in Penang, I don't know, maybe it's just the place is a little bit more run down, not as shiny and clean. But I feel very comfortable with the veterinary care he receives there. You don't even need an appointment. You just go in, check in at the desk, and put your little carrier. They have a line down the hall, and they put his name on it, and then they just take them in order. And when it's his turn, they say, "Earl Grey," and then you go in and meet with the vet. Honestly, I don't think I waited more than 10 minutes. So it goes surprisingly fast, even without an appointment. But like I said, today was just for vaccinations and a checkup, so it wasn't going to take long anyway. As you all have probably noticed, Earl Grey is a big boy. He weighs 7 kilos, and that's a lot to carry, let me tell you. Luckily, I don't have to carry him very often. Now, the vet seemed to think he was a little big, but he did note that Earl Grey has been the same weight for over 4 years. So he said as long as he's not gaining more weight that he's fine. I mean, he's a big boned cat. He's not just a fat cat. And he made sure to point out to the vet that he was world famous too, so he would get extra special care. Just kidding. Although the vet did say that I should keep an eye on his weight. The doctor checked him all over and said he was in good shape. He got a deworming pill and his nails trimmed, which I hate doing, and he hates for me to do it too. Much easier to have 2 people do it. And he's such a brave boy, he didn't even flinch when he got his vaccination. Here's a little montage of his visit with the vet. doesn't look too freaked out, does he? The whole visit took less than 30 minutes. And as I was waiting at the desk for the bill to be tabulated, I was wondering, I wonder how much this is going to be. I had no idea, but I knew it was going to be a fair price. And I was shocked how fair it was, honestly. I'll go over the charges with you here. So the consultation with the vet was 5 ringgit. 5 ringgit? That's less than $2. I don't know any vets that would charge that in the US. Now the vaccine was 40 ringgit, which is closer to $10. That seems like a right price. The nail trim was 5 ringgit. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to take him there from now on just to get his nails trimmed. It's just ridiculous for me to try to do it when he can get it done for 5 ringgit. The deworming was 8 ringgit. So the total cost for his examination, his vaccination, his deworming pill, and getting his nail trim was 58 ringgit. 58 ringgit. That's less than $15 US. I couldn't believe it. I am happy as a clam, and I'm going to keep taking him there often. The cost of veterinary care in the US is staggeringly more expensive than this, as any of my viewers in the US can probably tell you. Now, while cats are very popular in Malaysia, they do have dogs too, but cats are more popular. Surprisingly, with an estimated 60% of homes having a cat, at least one. Dogs are much less popular or as common a pet as cats are in Malaysia. There's a couple reasons for that. The Malay population thinks dogs are dirty, I think, and they really are sort of scared of them. A lot of people are. I'm sure there are a lot of Malays that like dogs too, though. So cats win the popularity contest in Malaysia. Yay! So let's talk a little bit about stray pets in Malaysia. Now, there are lots of stray cats everywhere. And there's wonderful places like Cat Beach in Penang, who tries their best to capture and spay and neuter and rehome cats. And there's probably other people that do that too. But as anyone knows, stray cats can multiply and multiply like crazy. But that's why I found Earl Grey. He was just a stray on the street. As in most countries, strays are a little bit of a problem here in Malaysia. There's estimated to be between 5 and 6 million stray dogs and cats in the country. Now that's compared to about 1 million pets that have homes. So that's huge. They really should have more interest in spay and neutering pets here. Now, a lot of people do, like I said, but it is a problem. And I'm not sure if this is true necessarily, but when I was living in Penang a few years ago, there were so many stray dogs everywhere. I mean everywhere. And they usually aren't particularly aggressive or scary, but they can be. And I heard a horrible thing, and this I know is true. Some people are so upset with all the stray dogs that they put poisoned meat out, and the dogs eat it and die. Well, that's just terrible. And what happens is that normal pets go out and they might see this meat and gobble it up, and then they die too. I know people who this has happened to, and it's really sad and shouldn't happen. There should be a better way to care about the strays. Also, there was a rabies scare a few years ago, and I heard, now I'm not sure this is 100% true, because it could be just gossip, but I heard that they rounded up and euthanized 20,000 dogs just on Penang Island. That's really sad. You could notice the difference afterwards though, far less. But I think the ones that were left have reproduced, and there's just as many as there were before. Now, as you know, Earl Grey is a Malaysian pet, so I didn't have to bring him here. But you can bring your pets to Malaysia if you move here. No problem usually. There are a few restricted breeds of dogs, like pit bulls, Dobermans, and German shepherds. But even those you can get some exemptions for. But if you want to bring your pet here, it's no problem. There's plenty of companies that will take care of that for you. Now, it's going to cost thousands of dollars, but as we all know, it's worth it to be with our pets. And it depends on what country you're from. But there is a quarantine involved, usually. Some countries there's not, like the UK, no quarantine. Go figure. But anyway, it's doable. And I've done a video on it, which I'll put a link in the comments below, because I know that's a big concern for people. Well, I hope you enjoyed Earl Grey's visit to the vet. He seems no worse for the wear. Although last night I thought he felt a little warm and he was way more cuddly than usual. Probably just thanking me for bringing him home, honestly. If you enjoyed today's video, please like and subscribe, and check the notification bell too, that way you won't miss any of my future videos. Also, as you know, I have Buy Me a Coffee now, so you can directly support my efforts here. I really appreciate that. The link for Buy Me a Coffee is in the description below also. So again, I hope everybody enjoyed that, but that's all I've got for today. I'm getting ready for a big weekend of doing nothing. Actually, no, I'm going to meet this new group of people, and that should be interesting. But I hope you enjoyed it. That's all I've got. Talk to you later. Bye.
Get